Hey Internet, Nick11 of Zero here with the third base submissions review video for the Reddit Clash of Clans YouTube channel. Just continuing from what we had yesterday, nice continuation, getting the rest of the bases that were submitted on the post, as well as there's going to be a few more, so we're going to try and get through 4 today. If we do manage to do 4 in under 20 minutes, I'll try and get the 5th one that's on here, but no promises there. And great news within the within the subreddit right now. This morning, a bunch of the leaders got together and tried to time all of their clan wars together. And the result happens to be that Zero is now in war with Elfino, or Elefino. I always pronounce that wrong, but that's fantastic. And Reddit Flames is also in war with Reddit Raiders, so there's going to be a lot of fun war posts on the subreddit for the next 2 days, and the action and drama is going to be very exaggerated. So let's get started with this review for today. First base is from Ender Soup of Reddit Vortex. Alright, so here on the screen right now I will put the screenshot of all the traps and Tesla placement, and let's get started with this review. This is a very generic, very square farming base. I have seen it many times in the past few months while searching for raids. It is not my style of base, but I will give credit where credit is due. It is a good base. Very centralized clan castle, very hard to lure with anything other than hog riders or giants. Right now he's building his 2 crossbows, as he's a new Town Hall 9. So in place of where the crossbows should be, he's got his hero plates, which is a good substitute for now. Cool thing about this base is we've got the triangle mortars all in the center, or close enough to the center. Dark Elixir is well protected by all of those mortars. Square air defense, square wizard towers just outside of the air defenses. Little drill in there as well, but point defenses on the outside, which is another nice coverage trick. And in each of these side compartments you have 2 storages spread out across the base, so this way it's much harder for people to get all of your storages versus perhaps maybe 1 or 2 of them. So the splitting is a very good design for farming bases. It's got some nice little funnel spots right over here, and identical on each side of the base. Very nice little addition to this generic design, as most people usually just close it off and make it even more square without such a funnel. So that's a good way to put a change on it. Ender Soup just seems to be a very new Town Hall 9, very generic design, but but it's a very good design. Very good for new Town Hall 9s, and I know plenty of long-time Town Hall 9s who are still using designs similar to this. The only thing you really have to worry about with this kind of design is hog riders, which are going to have a field day, unfortunately, but not too many bases that are farming bases are going to be able to defend against hog riders unless they're specifically designed for them. So, outside hog riders, it is a fantastic base. Any new Town Hall 9s, I would definitely recommend to use this. Alright then. Now moving on to our next person is Sheldon from the clan Old School. And the notes he left for us are: he is a slightly premature Town Hall 10 war hybrid base. Alright, I did get to look at this beforehand, so I do know a little bit about the base. On the screen right now should be the screenshots of the Teslas and trap placement. First thing is to point out, looking in the center, he's got the 2 Inferno Towers, one of them's upgrading, and the 3 Expos, which all 3 of them have to be upgrading. But since he did say it was a war base, that's not too much of a concern right now. It's just going to be a pain for him on defense. He's got the square wizard towers, which is very good. Heroes in the center, which isn't too necessary, but it will make it a bit harder to lure them out. Clan castle in the center, very nice. Let me pull up the picture myself so I can actually see where his Teslas are. He's got a little giant bomb between these 2 buildings here. some air mines as well, mortars in a nice triangle within the center. The first flaw I see is the air defense placement. It's not bad at all. It is in a rectangle formation, which is perfectly fine, but the problem is when someone's attacking from perhaps this side or this side, it's going to take a while for the air defenses to actually reach the targets, so it's going to be a bit weak to air on those sides, as well as there's a different attack style where if someone attacks on this side and takes out both of the air defenses, then the Town Hall is unguarded from any air defense other than the Inferno Towers or crossbows entirely after that point, which, as a Balloon Raider myself, I know it would not be very difficult to set one rage between these two and have balloons just go straight through these two air defenses here. So that's the only flaw I see at first. Point defenses are all in these outer compartments. I do believe this is a slight variation of one of the popular Lotus designs, or whatever the name is called. It looks somewhat like a flower, except it looks like for this design he made the inside a bit more square instead of rounded as the outer edges are. I've never been a fan of this base, at least this base type. The many outer compartments are a cool idea, but it's not too hard for people to start aiming for the center. Just open up one compartment, open up the adjacent compartment, and then wall breakers are almost certain to go straight into the center, and then you're already in the center without much of a struggle at all. So this is not a base I would personally say is good. I'm sure it's doing well for him. It's definitely got all of what's really necessary for a strong base to defend against general attacks, but this is not a base I personally like, so I'm going to say I would not recommend it. Alright, moving on to the next person on our list today is A of Reddit Sigh. A has a at the moment it's a war base, but the screenshot is going to show it as a farming base. Sorry about that. And the main difference from the screenshot that should be on screen or already passed on screen is that the Town Hall is where this gold storage is, and this Dark Elixir storage is in the center with the Town Hall. So we're just going to judge it as a farming base, as it probably should be, since that's what it was submitted as. Alright, so first glance, we've got triangular mortars. Very good set. This mortar covers all these army camps, which is great. Makes it harder to take those out unless you're using archers, at which point these point defenses should be able to take out most of those archers. Well placed point defenses, as I just said, all around the edges, covers most of the outside buildings. Very good. Clan Castle is very easily lured, which there's not much you can do about that as a Town Hall 7, although I do think he could have made it a bit harder, but... Oh, sorry about that weird pause. The phone just went off in my house, so I'm going to edit that part out and just throw it on this part. I'm not sure where exactly I left off, so I'm going to go back to where the Clan Castle was. So it's not not hard to get this Clan Castle lured out at all, but one thing I do like is the king, even though he is awake and isn't going to do much, is in the way of the Clan Castle. So in luring the Clan Castle, you are going to lure the king, but the king could potentially kill the luring troops much faster while they're trying to lure out the Clan Castle. That's a small thing that usually doesn't work until higher town halls, when there's more Clan Castle troops or a higher level king and queen, but it's a little trick that can work. Looking inside, the air defenses are well protected and cover a good portion of the base, both of them overlapping the town hall, which is very nice. Wizard towers cover a good portion of the in and outside, as well as these general areas that are going to work as slight funnels for giants or goblins, for anything going for these buildings within these compartments. Sorry, phone threw me off a bit. So yeah, it's a very, very good Town Hall 7 base. It's As a Town Hall 9, I would say it's not too hard to beat this, but from a Town Hall 7 perspective, it's definitely a bit of a challenge to take on, unless you're using perhaps Mass Dragon or something, but at that point, there's not much a Town Hall 7 can do in the first place. So, it is definitely a good base. Farming or war base, it's probably one of the better Town Hall 7s you can actually use. So now let's move on to our next person, who is going to be the fourth and possibly the last. Oh, well, we're only 10 minutes in. I think I can get the other guy as well, so we'll go for 5 for 5 on this one. Have some fun with that. Alright, this one is Reddit Moo, and the person we are looking for is named Bacon. Very nice. Now, what he has is a trophy base, and I have seen this design before. It is a pretty cool design because even if you don't see it at first glance, this is an anti-hog base. If you take a closer look, nothing in this inner ring, or excuse me, middle ring, is a defense. So hogs are definitely going to follow along the outer ring of defenses and buildings. So that is a very cool setup. Even though this spot's only about a 2x2 open space, Hog Riders will definitely go for this cannon instead of this X-bow because it's clearly much closer by than the X-bow is itself. In the core, there's 2 air defenses, which is a thing that it's a good thing to use with anti-hog bases, as many of them are generally weak to air, as they cannot fit the air defense on the inside. So that's a good substitute. I do believe there are Teslas in here as well. There might be a rogue Tesla somewhere on the outside, which you probably see in the screenshot, but I don't right now. So, I personally don't know where it is. But, continuing to look around, nice upgrading air defense, getting that back up to Town Hall 8 standards. Mortars are exposed, but the cool thing is they cover the outside buildings and make it harder to lure out the clan castle, making the corners much more limited as to where you can actually place your troops. So that covers that side. This covers the bottom, although it is under construction right now. And then this one on the right wing of the base, which is going to do the same thing. The only easy spot, no, not even the top is that easy to lure troops out to. So, cool thing about that is I would say an attacker is forced to attack from, or forced to lure troops and heroes to the left or right side of the base. So that's a cool trick that some of the actually top players in the world right now have been doing for a while. So let's take a look at the outer defense placement. So we've got some point defenses, well spread out, covering all the outside buildings. Great job there. Wizard towers are a bit exposed, but in this case, for anti-hog purposes, that is perfectly fine. And I think there's at least 1 giant bomb between these 2, if not 2, which is great for hog traps. And I'll explain the difference between having, or the benefits and, cannot think of the word, but the downside to having 1 bomb versus 2 bombs, because there are benefits to both. Going further around, air defense that is exposed, but does a good job covering some of those outside buildings and makes it harder to attack from the bottom with air. And another wizard tower, which covers a lot more buildings than the other wizard tower, which is pretty cool, very nice. Heroes are not hard to lure out, but they are awake and in the hog ring, which does make it much harder for hog riders to enter the center, which is very nice. Both X-bows are pointed up and cover a good portion of the general area in which a hog rider will be going through, so they will be under fire of the X-bows for a good portion of the time while going around. Dark links are in the center for the sake of protecting it. Alright, so it's definitely a very good anti-hog base. I think I almost used this at one point, but opted to use something else. But I would definitely recommend this base. I do not know if he has the double or single giant bomb between these 2 defenses, but one thing I'll explain here is if there is 1 bomb, a hog raider is more likely to panic and set his heal spell down instantly to try and heal up his hogs and deal with that giant bomb. and assuming that there would be 3 other spots on the base, one perhaps right there, and I wouldn't know where the others would be. Assuming that he does have those well placed, he can eliminate all 4, assuming it's a Town Hall 9 attacking or Town Hall 10 only using 4 heal spells. He can get the attacker to use all 4 of his heal spells where he wants them to, so that they won't be able to be set down in the core, and he'll have a better chance of taking out the rest of the Hog Riders in the core. I cannot make promises that it will work out that way every time, but that's one way to point it out. And the benefit of double bombing these sections is that if the bombs are level 3, any level 4 hogs are going to be destroyed instantly regardless of a heal spell. Any level 5 hogs are generally 1 or 2 shot from a wizard tower at that point, so yeah, very good to put that next to a wizard tower so that they can be assuredly killed. And that's pretty much all I have to say about this base. Clan Castle is not hard to lure out, but it's certainly... well, it's not hard to lure out for Hog Riders, but it's certainly much harder for infantry to get to, so... pretty well designed base. I do like this base. I would definitely recommend it for some trophy pushers. I have not used it, so I do not know how well it performs otherwise, but definitely a good base. Alright, and at the 16-minute mark, we're going to try and squeeze in this last guy. I do not have a picture of his base right now, so I'm going to be completely blind with the... oh, whoops. Here, let me type this first before I speak, because I am losing track of thought. I do not know exactly where his Teslas and bombs are, but I do believe he's going to be sending me a picture of his base for the video itself soon enough. So I'm going to attempt to judge this blindly, but forgive me if I'm a bit off. Alright, it says he has a hybrid base here, Town Hall 10, and let's get down to the actual review of this. Alright, triangular crossbows, very nice, all pointed down. Square wizard towers, also very nice. Square gold storages. Heroes in the center, decently leveled. Point defenses all along the outsides, assuming that he's going with the continued theme. I'm going to guess the Tesla is next to that builder hut, which could be great. A great setup, since wall breakers would go for that compartment, and then a Tesla would easily take out that one wall breaker as it tries to open up the compartment. So I'm going to assume that the Teslas are next to those builder huts. His center has multiple fire disco inferno towers, which are both upgraded right now, so that's a very bold strategy, to say the least. Clan Castle also upgrading in the center. Not hard to lure out for a Hog Rider, but hard for most other armies. So it's well centered, pretty well placed. I'm going to guess there's a giant bomb next to this one. Air defenses are squared a bit further on the outside, but perfectly fine since they cover more of the base that way. The mortars are also in a triangle, almost or exactly in a mirror to the crossbows, so that's a good way to keep the triangulation between the 2 defenses they only have 3 of. So yeah, this is a pretty good base. Definitely looks great. Got some funneling on the outside, on each side, identical, which is very cool. Tesla's guarding what I'm assuming are these builder huts, and an extra compartment that needs to be opened up by wall breakers, so that's very good. Everything seems to be well squared, well triangulated, so it's definitely a good solid base. He is up around Masters League right now, so he's not quite there, but he is in Upper Crystal, so obviously it should be working out for him. 2 defenses won this season, which might not be that much, but still, he's winning defenses. And it looks like it's just a very well done, well structured base. I can't say too much right now because I don't have the picture in front of me, but it definitely looks like a very solid base. So I would recommend this, and hopefully I do get the screenshot before I do upload this video. If not, I'm going to have to do some last minute annotations that are going to point out where the bombs and traps are. But other than that, yes, it is a very, very decent base. Alright, and for the final wrap-up of this base review, I'm going to try and make these base review things at least done once a week, where I'll do a subreddit post, say, taking weekly submissions and such, and go through these as fast as possible, because these videos are pretty easy for me to make, and it keeps something new on the channel more than once a week, so that'll be a fun thing to do. For the Dusk new montage I was trying to do, what I think I'm going to do is, since there's currently 3 Reddit clan wars right now, in addition to the Reddit new Dusk one, I think what I'm going to do is try and make a monthly montage of all of the Reddit clan wars thrown together. That way we have more variety, and I'm not scrambling through 200 clips versus what I would probably be doing is asking what clips are worth my time to actually record, and then I'll take maybe 5 to 10 clips from each war, throw them into a montage, and then that will be what I can do. And I could do that maybe every month or 2, since montages take a lot more time and effort. But that will be a fun thing to look forward to. The defense video, again, working on, takes a lot of work, real pain, but I am doing my best to get that out as fast as possible. Top 5 will be tomorrow. It will be the last defense replays, and then we will be switching over to the theme weeks. And from that point on, I believe that's everything covered here. Thank you all for watching. Bye for now.